Net zany, the insane and increasingly insane world of net zero policies. We had all the Californian wildfires, bushfires, and the poor people of California, after having gone through all of that, and I'll be talking about that later on in the show, but they've now got a lithium fire. That would be, James, I believe, batteries put aside to save the planet are now releasing all sorts of toxic garbage and creating mayhem in California.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know that lithium batteries do have this propensity to suddenly decide to catch fire and ignite. And the sort of funny thing, or not funny thing, about the lithium batteries versus, say, a tank of petrol or something like that is it's pretty easy to put out a gasoline fire, relatively speaking. I mean, that's what, professional firefighters are for. But professional firefighters have a huge amount of difficulty with these lithium batteries when they decide to short circuit and go. We have seen, by the way, here in Australia and Sydney, large numbers of apartment fires from people with e-scooters and things like that they bring in. They're dodgy, they're from China, and they're not very well made. And the batteries decide to catch fire, and they're very, very hard to put out these fires. I'm terrified of what happens one of these cars with their batteries goes up in a shopping center car park, in a car park underneath an apartment building. This lithium stuff, we don't have any handle on it. We've decided that this is a better way to power things. It's not. And also, they're heavier. There's so many other reasons why this is actually just shifting the environmental cost from one place to the other. Well, by the way, also, guess who makes all the batteries? China.
Exactly.
So, why do you think the Chinese love all of our net zero stuff? Because it just means more money for them. Remember, all of this stuff is set up to shift our manufacturing wealth from Australia, from the United States, from the West to China. That's what it's all about.
And Caroline,
follow the money.
For some reason or other, when I saw this story about massive lithium fire there in America and California, Chris Bowen popped into my head. I mean, they say living rent-free there, but
you can get help for this, Ro.
I can get help for it. But why would that be, Caroline? Why would I suddenly have an image of Chris Bowen?
I don't know. Maybe it's because we have the same net zero delusions here and complete climate change zaniness in Australia. I mean, look, what happens if a lithium battery in one of these e-scooters explodes near the bush in Australia? What happens then? I mean, James is right. This is happening far too frequently. It's happening when people try and charge these batteries. Like, it's not that they're necessarily even being irresponsible with them. It is just craziness. And at the end of the day, China is benefiting, as you point out, and they don't have to cut their own emissions. So at the end, we're the ones that are ultimately suffering.
Absolutely.